Hello everybody, it's Odishime here, and today I'm really excited to be talking about the latest series of Precure, Wonderful Precure. I'm not one of those people who can check in every single week and do a reaction video to every single episode because I just don't find I have enough to say other than, yeah, I really liked this. So shout out to people who can check in every week. But this week was episode 19 and Cure Lillian finally joined the team, so I thought it would be kind of a good time to check in with my thoughts so far because I have quite a lot of those. Wonderful Precure is simulcasting in the UK, which is kind of a massive deal because we've never had a simulcast here before. So that's a rare Crunchyroll W. This just means that Precure is more accessible than ever, which I'm really happy about. I've got a load of my friends on board and we're watching together every week. My friends are really enjoying it. I'm really loving this season so far. I made a video when the season was first announced about my predictions, my hopes, whatever. And I said that the theming looked really up my street. A pet season is something I've been wanting for a while, and it's definitely paying off the way I was hoping it would so far. The designs for all of the characters, I can't remember if these were revealed back when I made my logo reveal video, but the designs are so good. They're so fun, they're so vibrant. I think Wonderful and Friendly have my favourite designs, but like I've said, all of them are really gorgeous. And we have a green Cure. Look at her. The lead writer this season is Yuki Narita. She is the lead writer on seasons that are kind of controversial, like Yes 5 and Happiness Charge. When she was announced as lead writer before the season was even airing, I saw a lot of backlash on Twitter towards this, purely because people are something I've noticed. I don't know if this is a universal thing, but definitely within the Precure fanbase, is that if a season is flawed in any way, then people will latch onto that flaw and they'll define the season by that flaw. Like, as someone who quite likes Yes 5 and Happiness Charge, it's kind of hard to talk about the seasons because people are so obsessed with nitpicking at the flaws that they can't look at anything good in the season, you know? Like, it's really hard to have a nuanced conversation about any Precure season that the fanbase have decided is bad. But I'm a big fan of Yoshimi's writing because her character work is always phenomenal. Yes 5, in my opinion, have one of the best casts of characters. Like, I'm not even a massive fan of the season overall, but the thing that really drives it home for me is her character work, especially with 2 seasons. She's really hit it hard with Yes 5. And Otona bringing them back, I think it was okay. Otona was a reminder of why I really loved certain characters in Yes 5, and it was just kind of a reminder of how real their dynamics and bonds and their friendship really was. So far in Wonderful, the character work, I'm really impressed by it. I had high hopes because Yuki Narita was doing the character work again this season, and it's not disappointed. Mayu and Yuki are particular standouts. Obviously I'll talk more about this later, but Yuki Narita's writing is very good. Another real standout this season is the soundtrack. The opening is catchy, it's alright, it's nothing amazing, it's not one of my favourite Precure openings, but the ending, my god, is the biggest earworm I think I've ever heard. This is Shooby Dooby Sweets time for a new generation. Me and my friends will just be hanging out and then one of us will start going, wonderful, one, out of nowhere, and all of us will join in. It's so catchy. So let's talk about the story so far. If anyone isn't watching this season for any reason, the story takes place in Animal Town and everyone there loves animals. It's got loads of zoos, animal care. It's, you know, one of those Precure towns that are weirdly themed to match the show season. To begin with, I was a little hesitant and worried about how interesting they could make an animal-themed season. As excited as I was for the theming and the concept, I was kind of worried it would end up being a bit like Delicious Party, where it was a bit too simple, it was too focused on the theme, and we didn't really get much outside of that. So I think I've been really pleasantly surprised with the story so far. The world building so far is really interesting to me. So far we've seen the Nico Garden and we've seen Animal Town, and that's about it. We don't know too much about the villains, what their deal is, where they're from. We actually really only caught a glimpse of the villains for the first time this week. The Kira Nico, what's it called? The Nico Gardens? I can never remember. It's something I feel like it's good, but it's not something that really sticks out to me. It's not something I think about actively as I'm watching the episode. And they'll go back there every so often and I'll go, oh yeah, of course this place exists. So for me, the real action takes place in the real world of Animal Town. We're being given a few questions as the show goes on, and the show is slowly answering them. At the moment, it feels like we don't know much more than the Cures do, which is something that I really like in storytelling. The only thing we know that the Cures don't, I believe, is the fact that there is a bigger, badder thing powering up the Garu-Garus, are they called? I watch this show every week and I can't remember any of the words. So the big bad of the season is really my main concern. It is my main biggest question. I want to know what's going on. I want to know their motive. I want to know what they're hoping to achieve by hurting and corrupting all these animals. And why the Nico Garden ones specifically. I'm a little bit worried that we're going to have another instance like with last year when we kind of got all of the information about the villains right at the end of the show and they rush it all in like the last 5-6 episodes rather than slowly building up like they did in past seasons. With the reveal we got this week, I'm really hoping this won't be the case because I don't want another Hero Garu Sky case where I'm enjoying the story but it just does too little too late. I definitely really struggled with the pacing of Hero Garu Sky last year. The pacing this year is pretty decent. We're getting some real good character development, we're getting some good lore drops, we're getting mysteries which are exciting. I want to know more about the Mirror Stone. It feels like we're slowly learning about this. We don't fully understand it, but we know bits and pieces, which is really exciting to me. And this is the earliest in the show we've ever seen the Cures reveal their identities to someone who isn't directly involved in the team, I think. Obviously in Happiness Charge, there was like the reveal to Seiji in like episode 2 or 3. I don't count that as like a big scale reveal because he was kind of there helping them. So he was kind of like their Satoru. So I don't really count that as a really early reveal because it didn't involve people who weren't directly involved with the Cure's case, if you know what I mean. Like revealing it to classmates and parents who aren't like knit in with the story, I think is a really big deal. I personally really like it when the Cures reveal their identities like to the world. I think it's really exciting. It's fun to see how the people around react to the news. I think if they did it every season, I'd definitely get bored of it. So maybe once every 5 seasons is fine with me. One more big burning question that I have, and I'm sure everybody has, is who the mid-season Cure is going to be this year, or if there even is going to be one. Spoilers, kind of. One of the toys leaked this unicorn Kirin animal. We haven't seen her in the show yet. If I find it, then you'll see it here. But people reckon this will be the mid-season Cure. I really want it to be Satoru and the bunny Daifuku. I'd love them to join as another duo and make it a 6 Cure team. We haven't had a team of 6 since Kira, if I'm not mistaken. But if this unicorn does just rock up and join the team, I think this is going to be another Cure ace sort of situation. I reckon the unicorn will come out of nowhere, be a Cure. I can definitely imagine, with the way the show has been written so far, I can definitely imagine a mid-season Cure just coming out of nowhere. They've already established that they're a Cure, they just rock up, save the day, like Cure Ace did that one time. So it's going to be really interesting when we finally get to see the mid-season Cure. I'm personally holding out for Daifuku and Satoru becoming a mid-season Cure duo, but I don't know, it feels a little bit unrealistic. I'm hoping the unicorn is more like a power-up than a Cure. Please, Toei. I love Satoru so much. So let's talk about our cast of characters. It's a really strong cast this year. I really like all of the characters. I struggled to pick a favourite, which is always a sign it's a good season. There's not many seasons where I haven't got a clear favourite. The seasons where I really love all of the cast, and these are always my favourite seasons. I think it's really special when they can write characters that you love all of. Komugi, Cure Wonderful, she's a puppy. She's a little puppy. I love her so much. As soon as I saw her and knew that she was going to be a puppy who turns into a Cure, that was it. I was so sold. I love animals and pets. I wish my dog would talk to me or become a Precure and turn into a girl, you know? I think that's every kid's dream, is their pet to be their best buddy and talk to them and stuff. I think she's so sweet. I briefly mentioned earlier that she doesn't really have much character development going on at the moment. I think the only real development we've seen so far is the episode where she has the argument with Iroha. I didn't enjoy those episodes very much. I just personally don't enjoy squabbling and plots that revolve around characters arguing. It's just not enjoyable for me. Watching her adjust to human life is really fun, and watching her be completely socially incompetent is really fun. She can't read social cues, and I love that for her. She just constantly says stuff that she shouldn't all the time. I'd love to see a bit more of this. I want to see her face a few more challenges in learning to be fully human. I want to see her learn to take leadership. This is something that I think a lot of people have issue with, is that Kamuki is very clearly our lead Cure, but right now Iroha feels like the main character and the leader. This isn't really a big problem, but I think it's something we all want to see them tackle at this point. We're nearly 20 episodes in, we're getting to the halfway point in the show, so it would be nice to see Kamugi grow up a bit and learn to take charge. Maybe there could be an episode where Iroha isn't around to help and Kamugi has to lead the team. I really, really want her to grow as a character just a little bit more, please. Iroha, Cure Friendy. She is super cute. I love her blonde big plaits so much. I think this is the first time we've ever had a purple Cure with blonde hair. Obviously there's Asumi in her civilian form, but that totally doesn't count. Her dynamic and her bond with Kamugi is really precious to me. It's so sweet. As a dog owner, this season means a lot to me. I love my dog, she loves her dog. It's great. As I already said, her tactical thinking skills are sharp. She balances out Kamugi's kind of helplessness, if that's the right way to put it. Sorry, Kamugi. Again, she kind of needs a bit more development. I feel like we haven't seen her grow much as a character. She's a very simple, straightforward character. I don't have an issue with that. I really like her so far as she is. I would really like to see her face some sort of challenge, learn something new, grow a little as a person. So I think maybe a weakness I could pinpoint with Cure Friendy is that her thing is that she wants to be friends with everyone. She loves everyone. Friendship is her thing. She thinks she can make friends with everyone, and maybe this could be her weakness. Maybe we could see her try and reform a villain, and when the villain refuses to be changed, refuses to make friends, this could make her maybe grow a bit and realise that maybe she can't win everyone over, and that's okay. You're not going to be friends with everyone in life, not everyone's going to like you, and maybe this is something that she needs to learn, because so far it seems like she's the sort of girl that everyone is drawn to, everyone loves. I think that could be a really interesting development point for her. Satoru, he's not a huge part at the moment. He is kind of like David Attenborough if he was a teenage boy. He just kind of stands around and tells fun facts about animals, which I love. I think he's a real sweetheart. His crush on Iroha, bless him, it's very obvious and very cute. I know Precure is a bit with romance. They either handle it really well or it's a disaster. This is one that I'd like to see handled well. It's a little bit reminiscent of, sorry I keep talking about Happiness Charge, but it reminds me of Megumi and Seiji. You know, the sort of childhood friends. He obviously really likes her from the start. I want them to handle this better than Megumi and Seiji, because I was so ride and die for them, and they only really got together in like the very last episode when she realises, oh, I did love you all along. And I would like Iroha to slowly either reciprocate his feelings or realise and politely turn him down, maybe teach kids about dealing with one-sided love, I don't know. They're obviously going to try something romance related again this season. We had a bit of this in Delicious Party a couple years back. They didn't really stick the landing with it. I don't really know what happened there, because I think they officially stated that Yui and Takumi were together in that season, but they just didn't really do a lot with it, you know? Cure Nyami, Yuki, the cat, she is so cool. Her character arc these last few episodes has been kind of insane to watch unfold. She's very different to other Cures. She reminds me a bit of maybe early days Cure Fortune. I'm really struggling. Maybe Cure's sword before her character development. She is very lone wolf. She has one goal in mind. She doesn't care about what the Cures are doing. I think she's really, really unique and interesting. I definitely, when I first saw her design, I thought, okay, she'll be like maybe a more mature, grown-up character of the group, but I didn't expect her to have really strong, conflicting character morals as opposed to the rest of the group. I didn't expect her to kind of be an anti-hero, an adversary against the Cures. I think her morals versus the more pacifist ideals of Iroha and Komugi has been really interesting to watch. Like, she'll very happily just go and beat up one of the Garu-Garus, whereas the other two refuse to hurt them. They would just want to calm it down without hurting it and being violent. Now that she is supposedly going to join the team, even though the episode preview this week makes it very clear she has no interest in it still, I'm really, really interested in how this is going to be resolved. I want to know what could they possibly do to make her see sense? What are they going to do to change her mind about the way she thinks right now? Obviously, I think Mayu is going to have a big part in changing Yuki's mind about the way she handles being a Cure. But I really want to know how the other two are going to change Yuki's kind of cold stance towards them at the moment. Her transformation sequence, when I watched this for the first time, I was gobsmacked. I thought this was going to be a season with really simple pew-pew sort of transformations. The first two were quite straightforward, very fast-paced, and then Cure Nyami just comes out of nowhere, this really elaborate, a really high production transformation. It feels like a lot more complex than the other two, which is kind of insane. Something I was thinking about is that Cure Lillian and Cure Nyami both have far more complex, intricate transformation sequences than Cure Wonderful and Cure Friendly. And I think this is a really subtle but cool way to kind of show that their characters are quite simple, whereas the others are quite complex. If you get what I mean? The more complex, nuanced characters get the more complex transformation sequence, whilst the more straightforward, easygoing characters get the really simple, straightforward transformation sequence. I don't know if that was what they were going for, but it was just the thought I had, and I thought that was really interesting if it is what they intended, because that's how I'm reading it right now. I hope they don't completely wipe out her diva girl boss kind of cold personality when she does come around to joining the team. I kind of want her to be the new Milky Rose. I want her to still be a little bit, you know, brash and hard to get along with, but I do want her to warm up to the others. I hope they do find a good balance for her, because so far they're doing really amazing work with Cure Nyami. Cure Lillian Mayu, she might be my favourite this season. I can't decide. Her and Nyami are both so interesting. I tweeted the other day that Cure Lillian kind of feels more like the main character than Cure Friendly and Cure Wonderful do at this point. And it's definitely not a complaint. I just think she has definitely got the most interesting character work. She's had the most development going on. Her backstory, every time we get a bit of her backstory, it warms my heart. It makes me really emotional. They're doing so much with her, like the episode where she tells us about how she met Yuki for the first time. Really made me really emotional. I didn't expect that one to hit so hard. She's such a lovely girl. I'm so soft for Cures who are a bit socially awkward, who are a bit, you know, who are shy, reclusive, the autistic coded girlies. I love them with all of my heart. I find her really relatable. Her sort of awkwardness with friendship is really fun. She doesn't seem to realise how important she is to Iroha, which is, you know, endearing, I guess. Again, her transformation is amazing. I think this is actually my favourite sequence in the show. The theatrical, like, symbolism of it all, I think is really I wonder if they're going to do something with this. It seems like her character arc is going to be a lot about learning to be confident. And so far we know that she's like a really creative girl. She likes sewing and knitting and whatever it is she does. And I wonder if maybe there's a lot of theatrical symbolism in her transformation, so will she get into theatre as a way to boost her confidence? I think that would be a cool way to deal with her character. Her design is very pretty. I like her big wavy hair. I like it when the transformation where she goes whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. it turns into a ponytail. I like that she clearly becomes a lot more confident once she's transformed into Cure Lillian. She goes from being a bit awkward and shy to being very determined. This little bit here in her transformation where she gets that determined look in her eyes, it's awesome. That's really all my thoughts about the characters. I don't have much more to say about this season, but I've already waffled on for quite a long time, so that's totally fine. My hopes for the rest of the season, I'm really happy with how the season's going at the moment. The pacing, I think if they keep it up, this is going to be a really well-rounded season. It's really good so far. I'm looking forward to the mid-season Cure reveal, and I'm looking forward to learning more about the villains, hopefully in good time, because I don't want it rushed. I don't want the season ruined for me. Overall, this is a really, really solid, I want to say 8 out of 10 seasons so far. There's been a couple of bits where I've doubted it early on, but these recent episodes have definitely pulled the show back up by the socks, so to speak. So I really hope they keep the momentum going. I hope that we get to learn more about the world soon. That's really all I want. I have a lot of confidence in the season. I think that they're going to do an excellent job with it. I'm excited to see where it goes, and I'm excited to see what happens with Satoru a lot. I really like him. That is all. I will not keep repeating myself. I have spoken so much. I need a little water. My throat hurts. So until next time, which will be another Precure video, bye bye, Oddish Nation.